then give me all of these convenience fees, please.
How convenient. Those fees are there.
Convenient for them, maybe.
A modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And on this week's show, we join the Kingsmen in the first trailer for The Golden Circle.
Yes.
Disney lays out its release dates for the next several years.
Well, you got to plan ahead.
Got us off guard there. DC's going all in on a streaming service for its comic book stuff and more.
Oh, I want to hear more about that streaming service, that's for sure. Because we know how much I like my streaming services.
Yeah, you do. Well, last night, ironically, I was trying to watch the movie Unbreakable from like the year 2000. And it's about comic books. I tried watching it once years ago and just wasn't into it at the time. Came back and watched it last night, and I was trying to find where I could stream this show at. And lo and behold, it's not on any like Netflix or Hulu or anything offhand. And I was like, I looked over at my wife. I'm like, I'm at that point where I can say, to hell with this. I'm just going to pay for it to rent it because I can't even. I can't even find a place to download it illegally yet. So,
man, well, I mean, I had a somewhat similar situation on Friday. We went to see this awesome show out here called Top Gun Live, or I guess technically it's called Tom Gun Live, maybe for copyright reasons, but it's just this wacky theater show where they kind of reenact the Top Gun movie with audience participation. It's really awesome. I went to one the other year around Point Break, which was awesome too. But we were like getting ready, so we're like, okay, we got to watch Top Gun because I hadn't seen it in years. Such a long time, I barely even remember what's in the movie, except for, obviously the iconic parts that have been spoofed for so long. So it's like, all right, we're going to watch Top Gun. So I had a feeling, since it's more of a popular older movie, the super popular ones usually aren't streaming. So I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to spend $2.99 to rent it on YouTube or whatever. And then I see, oh, it's awesome. It's on Hulu. That's great. But Hulu's servers were just sucking on Friday night because our internet connection was fine. Netflix never has a problem, so I know it's on Hulu's end. They just can't handle streaming me a whole movie. So I was just like, it buffered like 3 or 4 times about 20 minutes into the movie. I was just like, no, screw this. And I was just like, I'm not going to pay $2.99 for this movie when I'm technically already paying for the rights to stream it. So yeah, we just ended up downloading it. So
well, I can come to find out on my end, HBO had it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, HBO has a huge selection of movies. So I feel you there. Like, why pay twice, right? Whenever you're doing
basically our morals are very flexible depending on the situation.
Right. Well, I tried to find this movie to download online, and it was not working. Like, it wasn't working at all because it's a year 2000 movie. No one's really posting those frequently, So, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Unbreakable this time around. So, yeah. Other than that, Mike, I mean, I bought a bunch of pops yesterday. Westworld pops are out. It was dangerous. I didn't know those. Were out.
Man, Westworld. Do they have like the pop of just the white goopy like stock character that's like always shown in the intro?
Not yet. I could just go buy a blank version of a pop and be like, this is it.
I feel like that's the one, if I had to have one, that's the one I'd want. And hopefully they'd have some of that weird milky goop dripping off of them on the pop vinyl. That would be cool. Like, I would want that.
Well, I got the, I think my coolest, I had the young Ford, which is the little boy when his mouth, like, and jaws, like, unhinge as a robot.
Oh, cool.
And they drew the lines on his face, like, where it comes out. That was pretty nifty. So, and Spider-Man Homecoming pops come out Monday. And, FYE put one on the shelves like 2 to 3 days early, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy this early. So, but that's about it, Mike. Anything else on this weekend you wanna?
Man, I mean, Westworld. I'm looking forward to that coming back, but we'll have Game of Thrones in front of that, which is going to be an awesome summer TV show. And as you can see here, I'm trying to do my best to dovetail us into the topic of the summer.
Well, so, I mean, we don't even have to dovetail. Like, we're going to tell you, we sat down before this show and we were like, what movies do we want to spoiler cast this summer? Because we are on summer's eve. This is the last weekend before quote unquote summer movies kick off. And we don't know what's happening. So we're gonna break down some of what we're gonna see, some that are on the fence, and go from there. So first and foremost, we are 4 sleeps away from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Mike.
4 sleeps away. I love that, because that's what I used to do when I was a kid, but when my birthday was coming up. Or I always remember a moment in a classic Full House episode where I think someone's telling one of the kids in the show, like, oh, your birthday party isn't for a couple more hours, but don't worry, it's just like a couple more Sesame Streets away or something like that. But
yeah, I love Counting Down by Sleep. So we got that coming out. Also, I think later this month is Alien Covenant, which I think we're going to sit down and break down. I actually get to watch it in the same theater I saw Prometheus in. So I think
I don't know if that's good or not.
It's a nice connection there, Mike. It's like I gotta be like, okay, I remember this. Then we also have Wonder Woman coming out in June. Spider-Man.
Crossing my fingers for that Wonder Woman movie. I believing and hoping it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, we're going in cautiously optimistic on this one, Mike. If we can mark it up how we feel. Spider-Man Homecoming is right in July there, 4th of July era. So that's really, really excited for some of that. And then we've got a list of some maybes here to start off. The Mummy. We talk about it every once in a while. I kind of want to see where they're going with this Universal Monster Universe, like, connected movie series and what that's going on there.
Yeah, I feel like if this ends up being a franchise that makes money, but the movies are really bad, we won't spoiler cast them. So I feel like maybe at the very least we should see the first one. Yeah, so I think you're right there. But I mean, it's Tom Cruise, so I mean, at the very least, at least you're getting a Tom Cruise movie, which is usually mostly good.
Yeah, you can sit, you usually don't feel bad walking out of a Tom Cruise movie like, oh, I paid to watch that. So it's steady, it's consistent. We talk about this Cars 3 I'm going to have to see because my wife is a Pixar Disney fan. I didn't care for the other 2 Cars movies as much as everyone else does. But it's Cars 3, it looks like they're taking it to a new level. I don't know, Mike.
Yes. Yeah, 2 interesting things here. I still have not seen Cars 2, even though I really enjoyed Cars 1 when it came out. I had no problem with it. I really liked it. So I think what I'm going to do is just pretend that Cars 2 never happened, because apparently it's really bad, and I'm just going to go see Cars 3 and just see what it's like living in a world where I've never seen Cars 2 before. So that might be kind of fun. But also I feel like we might have to spoiler cast this, just because this could pull a Finding Dory on us, or a Nemo 2, if you will, and be the highest grossing movie of the summer and just like totally surprise the hell out of us. So I feel like you got to see the movie that makes the most money of the year,
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's, I mean, between that, Beauty and the Beast, I believe Coco is the new Pixar film they're shooting for this year as well, later in the year.
Yeah, I think that's fall.
It's November. Yes, it's a November movie. But Cars 2 had Michael Caine in it, Mike. So you can maybe, if you do end up watching it, you can at least, look forward to that fact. Because he's in this next movie that's probably going to make the most money this year, despite how hard we try not to. Transformers: The Last Night. We are on the fence about this because it could be the biggest money-making movie of the year, because the other ones have always been.
Yeah, if we do end up spoiler casting this on the show, usually we try to have some integrity on Superhero Slate and stick to comic book superheroes and stuff, but even Transformers is so bad, but it's so big now, it's just kind of hard to avoid. But I think if I have to give them money, I'm going to do like a Saturday morning showing so I can get that cheap matinee price, so I don't have to give Michael Bay any more money than he needs.
Yeah, exactly, and sneak your own snacks in, just to stick it to him.
For sure.
So, Transformers: Last Night, we're on the fence about. We talked about this movie for the first time a couple weeks ago with Atomic Blonde, based on a comic book series. I think maybe with the same name. But it's got Furiosa from Fury Road.
Yeah, Charlize Theron. It looks
James
badass.
McAvoy.
Yeah, McAvoy's in it. There's some other people in it, too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but basically I watched the trailer. I only think I saw it once, but that was enough to go, oh, this is really cool. We looked into it on the show the other week, and it's basically kind of like a John Wick type movie. It's made by stunt people, so I think it could be really cool and really badass. But hopefully we can get around to it. But like this list is going on, it's going to be very busy. And there's one other kind of movie we're on the fence with.
Yes, and the last one we're on the fence is, and we've talked about this several times, is The Dark Tower. We know our listeners. We have listeners who are fans of The Dark Tower, and again, without any official trailer, which it might drop this week, Mike. Wink, wink. I've heard things. They really haven't sold us fully yet on this, but between Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey and The Dark Tower being this thing that's Stephen King's like magnum opus of books, I'm interested. Of the two Stephen King properties this year, between this and It, I'd much rather watch this over It. So
yeah, I mean we're not big fans. I'm not big fans, but we just are not familiar with the property. But we know tons of people out there are, and this is a big deal to a lot of people. So I mean, I think if the trailer really knocks it out of the park, I think maybe we'll have to go see it, because I think there still might be some sort of HBO TV component into it too, and over here in this household, we love TV, so we might have to see it just to watch the eventual HBO series, you know?
No, I totally agree. The thing with any of these on the fence movies, if they wanted us to definitely do the spoiler cast, release a special drink, like so we can review your drink while we're talking about the movie, because it worked for Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I think there should be like an Atomic Blonde beer or something like that. I mean, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if there was. Sometimes these more mature quote properties like do beer tie-ins, but yeah, give me some sort of drink that we can, or a snack, some sort of exclusive snack.
yeah, that, I mean, we'll totally review it. The last three movies are movies I think we're definitely going to see. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets.
Oh yeah, this is kind of like my sneaky dark horse. I'm hoping it kind of turns out like the first Kingsman did 2-3 summers ago, whatever that was. So I'm rooting. This is the horse I'm rooting for.
Kingsman was actually Valentine's Day 2 years ago, because it kicked off the Deadpool release date for Valentine's Day. Also, Inhumans is September 1st, which is, I consider, the end of summer, from May 1st to September 1st. And we know, yes, it's a TV show, but the first 2 episodes are being treated as an IMAX film in IMAX theaters. So I'm going to be there.
And when the second half of the show is such a big fan of Inhumans, you know it's going to make it on the list.
yeah. Mike's got to watch this regardless. So we might even have 2 Inhumans spoiler casts, one for the show and one for the movie. I would. I totally would. And lastly, although we said summer stops on September 1st, September 22nd is Kingsman: The Golden Circle, simply because we're such a huge fan of the first one. And I feel like that might have been our first technical spoiler cast on our show, since it came out really close to when we launched. So I'm really excited for Kingsman: The Golden Circle, and that actually brings us to our first news topic of the day. The first official trailer for The Golden Circle has landed this week, Mike.
Yes, nice. And the trailer was just as awesome as your segue was there, Chris. I was actually really happy that those like screenshots of that pre-trailer didn't really spoil this, so I might have just been complaining for no reason, but whatever, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
This trailer was really cool, had a lot of high octane in it. The kind of the biggest overall takeaway from the trailer is the Kingsman runs this really interesting line of kind of parodying older spy movies, but not leaning into the jokes. They just found a way to like make it cool. Like there's a scene where there's like an underwater like goofy looking European car that's like with like propellers and the wheels change, and it's just like, but in the kind of the Kingsman universe they're building, it works. And like Matthew Vaughn's kind of directing style is like really kinetic. You kind of see a lot of that fighting choreography kind of translate. There's like this moment that sticks out to me in the trailer. It's just a very little throwaway moment, just where the camera pans out and you see this guy in like a bar like crack out like a bullwhip, and he like takes this like fighting stance, and like just the way like the camera tilts and shifts, it kind of just gets you back into that kind of Matthew Vaughn Kingsman style. So there's just lots of crazy shit happening in this trailer.
So that's funny you mention that, because that bar scene with the guy in the whip, that guy kind of looks like Colin Firth. I'm pretty sure he was one of the characters in Game of Thrones. I think he got his eyes squished out with thumbs.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but that looks like it's going to be kind of like, because there are the Statesmen, the American versions of the Kingsmen, and it looks like a Statesman version of the bar fight from the first one, from the first movie, cool. But with his like the statesmen look like cowboys. All in all, they have the little rifles where they load with the bottom, the bullwhips, just all sorts of cowboy hats and mustaches. It looks this looks going to be off the walls. Lots of great action, lots of good jokes. I think one scene that stuck out to me is whenever it looks like they're driving a car and he like jumps over another car that tries to take off his door. It goes in slow motion. Like when you say it's a kinetic directing style, like like the action's gonna be great and fun, and you're gonna have a great time with it. So it's good.
And the biggest reveal of all is we get to see Colin Firth at the end of the trailer with an eye patch, shaving his mangy beard.
Yeah, so they do at the end. One of them says Harry. The regular Harry trailer says Harry. The red band version changes it to where Eggsy says "fuck me," because we all thought Colin Firth was dead, and anyone with an eye patch is sketchy at best. So hopefully this is truly the Colin Firth character coming back, and they're not just gonna pull the wool over our eyes temporarily, or what's gonna happen here. So
yeah, I feel like it could divide some people out there, just because they're just like, oh well, you're spoiling it. You're telling us he's coming back. It's obviously a director's choice. It's not like the trailer house decided to spoiler that Colin Firth is in the movie. So I imagine we're going to maybe see him pretty quickly into the movie, or maybe the reveal isn't going to be important to the audience, but the reveal is going to be really important to Eggsy or something like that. So maybe we'll just be waiting for him to pop up like, come on, go save Eggsy. We know you're there. But I think it's going to be really fun, really cool. It's going to be interesting to see how they explain how he's still alive, because you go back and watch that scene. He doesn't just get shot like in the eye. He gets like shot in the freaking face. Like, so I don't know if he only has like half a brain left, and some people can still function fine with like half a brain. So I don't really know what happened there.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you. So I don't know. It looks fun. It looks exciting, and Kingsman comes out this fall, and I know we're going to be there for it. So
oh yeah, for sure.
But Fox isn't just dropping Kingsman stuff on us this week. They're giving us some more stuff here. First up, X-Men Dark Phoenix next November 2018. We're not excited about this movie, as everyone knows.
Yeah, but
some new casting videos have landed from people I've never heard of, like mostly younger kids, because they're going. The original cast is younger. And it looks like they're recasting Rogue for the upcoming series, which everyone seems so surprised at. But I'm like, no, they're going to recast a lot of people. So I don't know. I mean, other than that, I didn't have an issue with Rogue and the other ones, other than the fact that she was kind of like almost the main story for a lot of it, for like the first one and half of the second one, and then just kind of dropped her by the third one. So I don't know. Whatever. Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, you can tell we're not excited.
Yeah, they're going to have to work real hard to get us excited. A surprising announcement that I kind of heard this week is Logan is being brought back to theaters for a black and white release.
Wow. I'm more surprised that it's being brought to theaters. I would just assume that the black and white release would just, be on the Blu-ray or whatever.
You definitely said it will be on the home release as well, but they are doing, I think it might just be one day, May 16th. I don't know if it's a longer run or what, but I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, you can just turn on black and white mode. Well, no, that's not how this works. You have to go through and color grade all the scenes and all the stuff again to look good in black and white. Just turning it to black and white doesn't mean it's going to look the right way, I think the last movie that did this was Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, I think it was like the black and chrome edition, I think is what they called it.
Yeah, so there's a big call for that on these quote unquote gritty movies.
Yeah, well, I think with Logan, it's kind of they're trying to do the callback to the Western movie because Logan essentially was a Western movie, so that makes sense. And I think with Mad Max, it was more of George Miller had done black and white in the past. So I mean, I don't know the whole history of the Mad Max franchise, but was one of them black and white or something?
No, it was not.
All right, then I don't know what I'm talking about then.
Fury Road feels like a Western as well, though. I mean, they're out in the desert running from the large group of bad guys who have them outgunned. So, either way, it's cool if you do it. I don't think I'm going to go back in theaters to watch the black and white version, but I might try to catch it whenever it releases later this year on home version. So there we go. But that's okay. We don't have to wait till May 16th to go to the theaters, Mike, because this Thursday, May, was it 4th, 5th, whatever it is, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 finally lands in theaters, Mike.
Butts in seats. We will be ready and watching. I was waiting forever for my theater to add new showings because I'm not seeing this in 3D. I'm just not doing 3D. I guess I'm just an old curmudgeon not doing 3D movies anymore. So I finally got a normal showing at like a decent time. I'm ready for this. I feel like opposed to some other movies, I feel like I know less about this movie, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, when Civil War came around last year, I felt like we had analyzed a lot of what we had gotten from Civil War. And a lot of the set pieces, you know, they were earthbound, so they're a lot more familiar. So we're like, okay, well, we know there's going to be an airport scene. We know there's going to be a scene in like a snowy industrial area where Captain America and Iron Man fight. You know, we just kind of knew that there was going to be these different scenes happening. So, you know, when the movie was playing, I was just kind of waiting for them to pop up. I feel like with Guardians, I just don't know any idea what's going to happen, and I'm really enjoying it. You know, I have a little bit of a vibe of what it's going to sound like through the soundtrack. Luckily, I haven't heard any initial reviews or impressions, so I'm going in pretty blind for the most part. So hopefully I stay that way until Thursday.
Don't jinx yourself. You have several more sleeps. But yeah, so I'm the same way. I've avoided the reviews. I've heard generic reviews, but you know, nothing that's going to sway me this way or that way. Spoiler wise, I've remained kind of spoiler free, although your wife did give me a scare for you yesterday on the spoiler front. But you know, it's going to be, I think a lot of people are excited for this, and the fact, you know, it's the cosmic side of Marvel. They can do whatever they want with it now. James Gunn is not beholden to the comic books, really. They've kind of been like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing to see is Star-Lord's dad is now a planet. I don't believe that ever happened in any of the comic book lore. So, in James Gunn, we trust. We can trust you, James.
Yeah, so really excited for that. So reviews are landing, and they're out in other places, not from us. Go dark. This is my go dark alert for everybody. Like,
yeah.
Don't even read James Gunn's Facebook post because people are posting spoilers on there.
Yeah, basically, the best way to do this is, first of all, to avoid all comments. You know, if you for some reason can't avoid seeing like an article about Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that, just don't click into the comments of anything. Be very wary when you scroll down, because I think some social media platforms will show you like the first like top comment or something. So just scroll past that. You know, that's where a lot of the rogueness is going to come from. Because I think for the most part, journalists will do their best to avoid spoilers, but sometimes not reviews. So just, you know, don't get too clicky. Just click on other stuff. You know, there's plenty of other things on the internet.
Kill your time some other way, people. Like go to a safe space. Read like, you know, read comic books. It came out safe space, didn't mean safe space, but you know, you get what I'm saying. Like just stay out of there. And I don't know. I think it'll be fine. I just be careful, because there's a lot out there and a lot of articles. Like, this movie is now out in the UK and other countries, so you know, if you don't,
that's when the nerves and the hairs really start to stick up on my body. I think I was scrolling through Twitter this morning when I rolled out of bed, and I saw like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy made $101 million in an international release or something this weekend. I'm just like, oh shit, the movie's out. God damn it! Now I gotta avoid so much stuff. So now I'm in DEF CON. If you were in my mind, it would have those lights that have like the rotating thing on the inside that make them flash, basically like before you set off like a missile or a nuke. So that's what's going on in my brain right now. Going dark, but I'm ready.
Yeah, and that kind of actually, the only thing from this Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 I want to report, other than the fact that it is coming out, is that this is set 2 months after the first movie, which a lot of people have been like, how does this fit into the timeline? Well, this movie takes place 2 places after the first movie, so it's still technically the year 2014 in this movie.
Yeah.
And by the time Infinity War hits, it will have been 4 years between this movie and Infinity War.
Oh, so I don't think this movie is going to go to Earth until possibly the very end. My theory is maybe they somehow see Earth through a satellite, or they go to Earth at the very end. But I don't even think the timeline really matters when they're out there in the galaxy. And then plus you have all that kind of like time dilation stuff. So there's always like some sort of science fiction way they could explain something away. But I mean, unless Thanos shows up in this movie, I don't really know if there's going to be any direct connection with what's been going on Earth.
Yeah.
So, but it's good to know.
The only reason I said it is like the team, when they land on Earth in Infinity War, which is inevitable, they will have been working as a team for 4 years rather than just being thrown together, kind of like how we've seen them in the movies.
Oh, gotcha. So they should be a pretty solid Vin Diesel style Fast and Furious family by then.
Yeah, hopefully, and it'll give us some quick evolution without really having to show their evolution across 4 years. So I think that's cool. And that also kind of, Kevin Feige said that, you know, also a lot of the movies going forward are not going to be set in the time frame that they're released in as well. The same goes with Spider-Man Homecoming. It takes place right after his battle in Civil War. So, because we see his Civil War footage. So rather than the fact it's a year and a half later, release-wise, it's like a month after the Civil War battle. So, I think we're gonna have to pay more attention to where these movies are released and what timeline they're in going forward. So.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Let's look forward to Thursday, man. Let's do it.
Oh man, I'm so stoked for Thursday. And then also after that we get Avengers 4, not Infinity War, has rumored to been titled Infinity Gauntlet. I believe you might have called that.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's kind of weird because I guess technically in the realm of an Infinity Gauntlet stories, Infinity Gauntlet technically would kind of be first, and then the Infinity War story happened, years later in the comic book. So, mentally you think it might be flip-flopped. But yeah, I mean, that works for me. In Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Infinity Gauntlet. If that's true, I guess it just goes to show you that this Thanos problem is going to very much carry through into the next Avengers movie. They tried to tell us that these two movies were going to be two separate movies. It wasn't going to be a part 1 and a part 2. So it doesn't look like we're going to get like a brand new enemy showing up that's like maybe stronger than Thanos, unless obviously anyone else who puts the glove on is going to be strong. But yeah, I mean, it works for me. Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. So if it's not, no big deal. I don't think it gives anything away as much. But I don't know. I'm excited. Like, it makes sense that the war would become before the Gauntlet in our world rather than the comic world, which was like Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War, Infinity Watch, and I'm like, okay, so. The one wish I have, I'm trying to remember the exact, action beats that happened in the Infinity Gauntlet book. But I'm hoping just one of the Avengers, probably Captain America would be the coolest. I'm hoping he puts on the Infinity Gauntlet and punches Thanos in the face. I think that would just be an amazing moment that I really, really want to see. Because I think originally I said I wanted Captain America to pick up Mjolnir and hit Thanos in the face, because only Captain America could be worthy enough to pick up the hammer besides Thor. But obviously after that Ragnarok trailer, I don't think that hammer's going to be around. So I would settle for the Infinity Gauntlet. I think that'll be a badass moment. Hopefully we get it. And it fits with Infinity Gauntlet being the name of the movie. Yeah, it does. So, we don't know. Marvel is going to make their own thing. As we've seen with Civil War and Age of Ultron, they've borrowed the titles from their books, but never copied the storyline exactly. So yeah, we're gonna be surprised regardless. But that's okay, because I don't know why I'm saying this. Okay, Marvel Cinematic Universe has had a change in one of the future movie dates. Oh, okay. So Infinity War is I believe May 2019, and we don't have anything afterwards. But one of the mystery Marvel movies that Marvel put on the slate was July 10th, 2020. And they moved it to August 7th, 2020. So they pushed it back, a whole month there? So I have a reason why that happened, Mike, and we're going to talk about it here in a minute. But all right. The movie that could possibly fill an August role of 2020, maybe a new cosmic characters, because Kevin Feige said Marvel's cosmic characters may move to the prominence post-Infinity War, or Infinity Gauntlet. So
maybe, but August does kind of seem like that weird date. Obviously, by 2020, all of these movie dates could be totally irrelevant, because they seem to really be changing the landscape of release dates out there. But August does kind of seem like a later in the summer movie that's maybe not quite the headliner like a July or May movie would be. So maybe this could be like I don't know, like Doctor Strange trailer or something like that. Maybe this is like the ending of the trilogy of Doctor Strange or something like that.
They'd have to crank out 2 pretty quick to get to a trilogy, but yeah.
Well, whatever. It could be the next one. I don't know.
Well, August is a weird month, but it was originally July, and July would have been a huge title, Spider-Man this year. Doctor Strange 2 could very well be it. A lot of people want a Nova movie.
Yeah, I do.
There you go. It could be a Nova movie. We honestly don't know at this point because we don't know what the landscape of Marvel's Cinematic Universe is going to be post Avengers 4.
Well, so, I mean, I guess talking Marvel Cinematic Universe-wise, I mean, obviously X-Men could tie into it a little bit, but, that's over at Fox. I mean, besides, Captain Marvel, Guardians, and Nova, is there, like, any other really strong hitters in the Cosmic Universe that could kind of hold down their own movie?
That is a good question. Off the top of my head, I would say Fantastic Four, if Marvel does get them, has a strong chance because of Galactus and Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
But other than and then there's a creature called Annihilus, and he did something. He's a good villain, but he's up against the Fantastic Four. Honestly, I don't know off the top of my head. But much like Guardians of the Galaxy, they weren't known until Marvel did something with them.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess it's just going to come down to what properties can they maybe get back. But like you said before, I think in last week's episode, the Guardians team is going to change up. Yeah. So maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy will kind of end up being, quote unquote, the new Avengers. So, maybe they'll just use that as their landing team to swap in and out people. We'll have to see.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see if that is. I mean, it could be maybe an Earthbound person, maybe the Spider-Man Homecoming sequel, or the Ant-Man and Wasp final movie in that trilogy. Or maybe a Hulk movie. Maybe they'll get Hulk rights back by then. Who knows?
Ooh, that would be interesting.
We got a lot of options here. You write us in and tell us what movies you think Marvel should put their listeners. So tell us. But that movie was moved from July 10th to August because Indiana Jones 5 is taking over July 10th, 2020. And it goes both ways. A lot of people love Indiana Jones. Super fan Jim, big Harrison Ford fan. I think this is going to be the last Indiana Jones movie. I think they're going to kill him off. Harrison Ford loves being killed off in his movies.
I mean, that's true. I would say, would you agree that maybe Indiana Jones is slightly more light-hearted of a character than Han Solo? So maybe killing him off seems a little less... because there's not really a whole lot of dramatic family stories told in Indiana Jones. I mean, definitely not in the Crystal Skull. So maybe killing him off would seem kind of out of the ordinary, but I don't think anyone's asking for this. No one was asking for Crystal Skull, that's for sure.
Well, a lot of people were excited for Crystal Skull. What they got was definitely something less than par. But again, George Lucas is not involved in this one, so we're doing okay. We're doing a little better. Indiana Jones 5, maybe they don't kill him off, but he rides off into the sunset because Harrison Ford is getting up there. If he doesn't kill himself in a plane crash first, he's gonna, this could be his last one. So I think do that. I don't think there's gonna be any Shia in this one. I think maybe they want to make up for the critical reactions of the last one.
Maybe. I feel like
Disney's very, very, like, now that Disney owns Indiana Jones more so than they did before, I think this is going to be very, very Star Wars-y to them. They need to do it right.
Yeah. I have a strong feeling that they're going to use this as a jumping off point for a new indie type of replacement. So I don't know if going forward Indiana Jones 6 will be called Indiana Jones. Maybe it'll be like Iowa Smith or something like that. Wow. I don't know. I'm just making up names here. But everyone, kept saying, oh, Chris Pratt, he's going to be the new Indy. But I don't know if they're going to reboot it or maybe they'll just hand over the mantle. Like maybe in this 5th movie, Indy will meet like a strapping young lad or a strapping young lass that wants to be an explorer. And then maybe as he rides off into the sunset, our new character rides off into danger or something like that. But it's just weird. It's hard for me to imagine them making a 5th movie, not planning more out into the future. So expect a young casting announcement to be the new helm.
Yeah, I see. I think they might just end it. I don't know. To me, Indiana Jones doesn't have the longevity anymore because it thrived in World War II era stuff. And I don't know. They might do an updated version, but I think this might be the last one of that variety we see for a while. I don't know. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge on July 10th, 2020, Mike. We'll let you know. Star Wars Episode 9 officially has a release date as well, Mike. And in surprise, Disney has moved Star Wars from December to May.
Yeah, we were talking pretty heavily about this last week because kind of Avatar came in and claimed all of these December dates. Like, hey, guess what? We're Christmas time movies now. So I guess this could have all been planned, though, now that I think about it.
This is a whole different year than Avatar. So this would not have affected Avatar whatsoever.
Well, there could be more Star Wars movies coming back in the future. I know there's lots of speculation on when they'll be taking breaks, if the movies will be coming out every year. I don't know, but I mean, I kind of liked having that little Christmas treat, the winter treat to look forward to, the big blockbuster. So now it's back to May. I guess, that's its home, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings.
I'm okay with this because, I mean, my fear is 8 was going to leave us on a cliffhanger of some sort, Mike. Because it is the second to last movie. And that's kind of what Empire Strikes Back did. Kind of left us on a cliffhanger. Han Solo was stolen and in the carbonite, and they were like, what do we do? Everyone's dead. How do we go forward here? So I feel 8's going to do that, but then we have less of a wait. I mean, 7 months less than what we had to wait before. So I'm excited to get Star Wars sooner than later.
Yeah, I guess, book. I mean, that's on the plus side, it's nice.
Yeah, and that's the same month as Avengers 4, Mike. We're going to go from Avengers 4 into Star Wars 9. It's going to be the month of the sequels, for sure.
That's gonna be a busy month for us.
And you combine those together, you get 13. That's how many billions of dollars Disney's going to make that month. So May 2019 is going to be huge for us. Mark it on your calendars. We're going to be doing a spoiler cast for both those movies.
Yeah, you're going to need to go out and buy your 2019 calendars now, just so you can mark down those dates.
That's right. Speaking of more sequels, Frozen 2 got a release date as well for November 27th, 2019. I actually did not know a Frozen sequel was in the works, so this kind of caught me off guard a little bit.
I saw something the other day that said Wreck-It Ralph 2, which is a Disney movie, is going to be like the first Disney sequel that makes it to the theaters in maybe ever or in a really, really long time, because Disney was always kind of infamously known for those direct to VHS movies of sequels. So that's kind of interesting. And then Frozen is just going to be perpetuating that. So I'm kind of looking forward to Frozen 2 just because I want to stick it to all the people that got so annoyed with it the first time. I think the reaction to Frozen the first time around was drastic and hyperbolic on both ends. People seemed to hate it like it was the worst thing on the planet, and people seemed to love it like it was the best thing that was ever invented to humankind. But if you're lucky enough to be a person like me that just watched the movie, enjoyed it, and then listened to the soundtrack a couple times on Spotify because the music is super catchy, then yeah, I'm looking forward to a sequel. I'm not dying to kill somebody or dying to kill somebody to see the movie, so it's all right in my book.
So I'm on the other end. I think Frozen is very. I don't hate it with every passion of my heart, but watching the movie, it is not a very good made movie. I don't like it all. I don't know how it became the popularity, the huge thing that it did, other than the fact it's got the main characters are females and little girls need something to look up to and do. So that's great for them. But other than that, the voice acting in that is not that great compared to other Disney movies, and the music doesn't stick with me as much as apparently it did stick with you. So I'm not.
It just sounds like you want to wreck it.
I do. I want to. It makes me want to break stuff like the internet, because Wreck-It Ralph 2, like you said, the first Disney movie to get a sequel in a very long time in theaters, has a release date as well, November 21st, 2018. Sounds like Disney's banking on these late November ones as well for these movies. Mike, what do you think? Thanksgiving Day treats? Or?
Yeah. I think it's just it's a family movie. That's what these Disney animated things are for. I know that me and my wife and my in-laws, her family, we went and we saw Moana in theaters when we went home for the holidays, and that was a fun time. So yeah, these are just good family movies. So I hope Wreck-It Ralph 2 is awesome because I like the first one. I'm not the biggest fan of the title now that I've kind of sat on it for a little while, just because I hate the phrase breaking the internet because it's just totally overused, but I think he literally might break the internet, so I think it might work well for that character. But hopefully
he's definitely not Kim Kardashian's ass, so I think Wreck-It Ralph 2 sounds fun. Again, I'm surprised it got a sequel as well. There are a lot of other properties I figured Disney would jump at before Wreck-It Ralph 2, like again Frozen 2 maybe, but good for them doing these sequels in theaters. I mean, I don't think it's a problem. Do you think it's a problem? I mean, we're in a world where everything's a sequel now and everything, but at least Disney's not doing shared universes yet.
I feel like Disney has been tame so far, at least with their animated movies, because they easily could have cranked out a sequel to Big Hero 6 or something. I mean, there were just superhero movies were doing awesome, animated movies were doing awesome. There's no reason they couldn't have just slotted out a whole animated universe for superheroes, but they're just no, let's just do these other stories. So it seems like they've been a little bit holding back over there.
They did. However, two of their more recent properties, Big Hero 6 and Tangled, both got TV shows recently. TV show sequels, I guess. So it's interesting where Disney's putting their eggs in their baskets over there is a way different than, again, Star Wars or Marvel. So I don't know. It's cool. Good for them. They also gave a release date for the live-action Lion King movie, Mike, surprisingly enough, again, with July 19th, 2019. And we have, if all these dates are confusing for you can go to our show notes and look at all the dates, people. They're in there. But they also cast Timon and Pumbaa, the voice actors for Timon and Pumbaa. So Timon is lesser-known actor Billy Eichner. I believe he was in Parks and Rec.
Yeah, and he has pretty popular internet presence as a segment he does called Billy on the Street. He's really funny. I really like him. My wife likes him too, so that's cool. I like that casting.
So he's a comedian. And
yeah, basically, loosely you could say he's a comedian. I don't know if he technically does stand-up, but he's funny.
Okay, so he's an internet comedian. And followed very closely by Pumbaa as Seth Rogen, which I don't...
We all know that.
I don't love Seth Rogen, but goddamn, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that works pretty well. But yeah, I mean, there you go. There's your first two human castings for your Lion King movie.
No, this is the third and fourth. James Earl Jones is Mufasa.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right. Okay.
And Childish Gambino is Simba. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So okay, there you go. There's human characters. You're not going to see any of them in person, but somehow this is going to be live action.
Yes, live action and animals. All animals, as far as the eye can see. So, whatever. It's cool. I'm interested to see what songs they add or remove and what
Wait
works.
A minute. Okay, this is interesting. This just popped in my head. So, if we're going to be calling Lion King a live action Lion King movie, and theoretically, there might not be any live action element in it at all, human-wise, does that mean that Penguin movie was considered live action, where they had people in it at the very end? What was that? Happy Feet? Was that the movie?
I don't know. I didn't dive into Happy Feet.
Yeah, I think Happy Feet, at the very end, one of the penguins went to a human zoo, and there was really humans there. Yeah, that was weird. Maybe they shouldn't be putting humans in this movie. I don't know. Interesting thought. Over.
Yeah. Let's. We might edit that one out, Mike. No, I'm kidding. So that is Lion King, and then Disney dropped a lot of untitled different things. So if you're interested in Pixar, live action, Marvel, Indiana Jones, so on and so forth, there's some release dates here we got for everybody. I don't think it points out much, except Pixar is again looking to do 2 movies a year, and it's whenever they really kind of want to. There's I guess 6 with the 6 is June. June's Pixar month. So you can always find your Pixar movie in June. So take a look at those. Anything you see in there, Mike? Other than the fact they all say 3D except for the live action.
Yeah, I'm just kind of more curious what those are. Probably maybe those nature documentaries that they do.
I was thinking kind of like the Cinderella or the Beauty and the Beast movie, live action.
Well, but wasn't Beauty and the Beast 3D though?
I don't remember I don't remember wearing glasses.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. But there you go. There's a list there. You're going to need like an Excel spreadsheet to do any sort of determination of what those movies could be.
Yeah, the only movie I see here that has a title is Gigantic, and that's November 25th, 2020, which is way too far to even imagine.
Yeah, I think that was I don't know if it's Pixar or Disney, but I think I think it's an animated movie, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's like a Jack and the Beanstalk adaptation, because they love doing adaptations. So, and then they go all the way up to November 24th, 2021. So we know Disney's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, I think they're going to go pretty strong. I think they're doing all right.
They're going to be all right. They're going to make it out of this. So congratulations, Disney. Look at that in our show notes. Check it out. Let us know what you look forward to. Our second and last trailer of the week is for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I'm not much of a Street Fighter game person, but, you know, so they've actually updated the characters to kind of match their cinematic portions in this a little bit. Mm-hmm. And you point out, you know, they even got the new Rocket in there in his new movie attire. So other than that, I only knew the Marvel characters, and then a couple, like there was Mega Man, but I have no idea what's going on in this game. So
yeah, I mean, Chris Redfield's in it from Resident Evil. I mean, it's just kind of funny. It's like a combination that's you know, historic when it comes to video games, because the older Marvel vs. Capcom games, when they were first created, I would say the properties, the IPs were maybe a little bit more on even footing, but now it's just like Marvel is just catastrophically more popular and famous than Capcom in every facet, in every category you could possibly imagine, I would think. So now it's kind of weird seeing just like, oh, Ultron merges with this robot called Sigma. What's Sigma from again? I don't know. And then Chris Redfield over there is like the most popular, I guess, like Resident Evil character they could think of, is like shooting him with a gun. It's like, well, that seems kind of weird, but I know a lot of people are like furiously in love with these Marvel vs. Capcom games, and they are, because they are very good at the games, and whenever I play them, they destroy me. So I don't know if I'll be playing this, because I probably would never win a match.
Yeah, it's very, very... These Marvel vs. Capcom are kind of like Street Fighter games, very hardcore, have a very devoted fan base. And I had to look it up, but the character Sigma is actually from Mega Man X. Series. So he's the villain from there, and he combines with Ultron and the Infinity Gems, and I don't even know what's happening.
Shit gets it's a cool trailer. I mean, even if you don't play the games, it's kind of cool to see these kind of like polished 3D rendered animations. So yeah, even if you don't play the game or even own a video game console, just go watch it. It's fun.
Yeah, it's there for you to click on, so go check it out. So there's that. We're gonna switch gears. Mike, you wanted to know about the DC stuff we got this week, and I'm gonna lay it all on you right now. Titans is a new DC TV show coming from Greg Berlanti, Jeff Johns, Akiva Goldsman, who's doing Star Trek Discovery, and Sarah Schechter. And it follows Dick Grayson, who emerges from the shadows to become a leader of a fearless band of new heroes that includes Starfire, Raven, and many more. And it debuts next year, Mike.
So is this live action?
Is a live action TV show, yes.
Whoa, this is awesome. I love this idea. So this is kind of almost the kind of solution I had for Arrow, where I was just like, Arrow just needs to totally reboot. They need a new person to be Arrow. They just need new team. They just need to start from the ground up. And that's basically kind of what this Titans seems like. I mean, that's kind of how the Arrow show happened. You know, he was on his own, then gradually throughout the season, he you know, got a team of other heroes around them. But this is going to be awesome because all these characters are way more well-known. And I know a lot of people out there, including me, really loved the classic, I guess now you'd have to consider it classic, but the Teen Titans animated show that kind of ended on a cliffhanger, and then Teen Titans Go came out, which is really kind of bizarre.
This Powerpuff Girls meets Teen Titans.
Yeah, but no, this sounds really cool. I mean, Greg Berlanti, I don't know. He has started some really awesome stuff. But I feel like the longer these CW shows go on, they're just, you know, grasping for whatever they can to keep the show fresh after a couple seasons. So I think I'm going to enjoy the first 2 seasons for sure. But, you know, after that, I think it'll get a little dicey. But, hey, I'm happy to at least have those first 2 eventual seasons.
Well, the thing is, this might not be on CW, and we'll talk about that here in a second, because another TV show was officially given a title. Young Justice Outsiders is the name of season 3, Mike.
Yes, I'm so excited.
And in Season 3, the team of young heroes will fight against meta-human trafficking and the terrifying threat it creates for society caught in the crossfire of a genetic arms race spanning the globe and galaxy. It sounds like they're going huge with this, Mike.
Yeah, it sounds intense. It sounds a little bit more mature, which, begs the question of maybe are they going to take advantage of wherever this ends up airing? Maybe it'll be more of a mature platform. But this looks really, really cool. I like the idea. They did a kind of some meta-human trafficking stuff in the last season, but it was more like aliens trying to kidnap superpowered people. But the Young Justice show is really awesome. It's really fun. But I think the success of it comes down to it's just well written. It's just a group of people that takes the material seriously and knows it's not just for kids. And that's why it had such an awesome following. So I guess now maybe they're not relying so much on toy sales to bring it back. So I think we just need to get on to the next item because this kind of goes into my opinion on those two things we just talked about.
Well, Young Justice Outsiders debuts in 2018, and most people might assume Netflix because that's where it gained its popularity. But it's not. Not Netflix, Mike. It's debuting on a DC's digital streaming service that they're creating based focusedly on DC fans and DC properties. So this is WB. This service is created by WB Digital Networks Group, and it's just gonna like I said, deliver an immersive experience designed just for DC fans, where Titans will debut and Young Justice Outsiders will debut, and who knows what else they're gonna pull in off their slate of DC stuff.
So considering this is all on a digital streaming service, now I can go back to Titans and be like, so this is going to need to be a really big deal for them. They can't just rely on the popularity of what's on the CW to carry the show and just, show it to this established audience, because that's, why they can make a show like Black Lightning, who's a very unknown character, but, they can throw him on the lineup on CW and people go like, oh, another awesome CW superhero show. Yeah, I'll buy into it. But now you got to get, the only way you get people to sign up for a new streaming service is you need that killer show. So, bam, hit them with the 1-2, hit them with basically Teen Titans live action. Never seen that before anywhere. And then throw the much anticipated season 3 of Young Justice on there. I think you got yourself a good combination there. Now, it's really going to come down to what else comes with this streaming service and how much it costs if I end up buying into it or not. I mean, is this going to be like a more premium thing, like $15 a month that, HBO is? Is this going to be more on the cheaper end, like that comedy streaming service CISO is? I think that's like $5 a month. Or is it going to be maybe like Screen Junkies Plus, where it's only like $3? Who knows what the range is going to be? But the streaming service, it's outside of, this cable broadcast realm, so maybe Young Justice could be a little darker. I mean, that description that you said, meta-human trafficking, terrifying threats, I feel like it could go a little darker, possibly.
Yeah, definitely. I think digital. I don't think digital has an age range other than the fact you have to be 18 and have a credit card to sign up for it. So they can put literally whatever they want on there. You have to have a credit card to sign up, so it can be whatever it needs to be. I doubt they'll do that precisely, but it ups the ante a little bit. What I want to see from a DC digital service is that they don't just say it's digital animated service or television service. This is a DC digital service, meaning all the DC EU Extended Universe films could be on here, Mike. The back catalog of WB's films could be on here.
That would be a good way to bolster the catalog.
The animated movies that everyone loves from DC could be on here, and all the even. What if they got the Batman animated series, the full collection, upscaled to 1080 on here, Mike?
That would be awesome. And then plus, I mean, I would say, Disney and Netflix are really buddy-buddy right now. That's where they're putting a lot of their streaming stuff up for. So it seems like, Warner Brothers needs to buddy-buddy up with someone, so why not themselves? So what if, they started streaming their live-action movies on there, Hopefully our wish comes true and Wonder Woman is really, really awesome and we love it. Maybe when the streaming rights come out for Wonder Woman, sorry Netflix, sorry Hulu, sorry HBO, if you want to stream Wonder Woman, it's got to be on our platform. And like you said, it doesn't just have to be, it's a digital service. What if it's comic books too? What if somehow this integrates with their comic their comic subscription service? And what if you could just read digital comics on it too?
Well,
that'd be amazing.
That's funny you mention that, because DC never had that until this year. So they're putting that on there as well, which would be great. I mean, a one-size-fits-all solution for the DC fan. And
yeah, I mean, that's really awesome. I mean, it's really creative because, I mean, hey, if we talk a lot about the live action movies on this podcast because that's what the podcast is about. But I mean, if they're not, if your live action movies maybe aren't doing so hot, do all the other stuff you're doing well. I mean, they make freaking awesome comic books. You make awesome animated shows. You make awesome TV shows. Just throw all that stuff onto a streaming service and, start cashing the checks.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, using the back catalog of things people love, they want to sit down and, binge watch the animated series, or Superman the animated series, or Batman Forever, or not Forever, Beyond.
Batman Beyond, yeah.
Yeah, people want to watch it. Or even Batman Forever. Fuck it. Put all those old movies on there. Like,
yeah.
If it's a DC property and WB owns the rights to it now, I don't know what that consists of, but I'm pretty sure they made all those movies in the early 2000s as well.
So let's do it. I'm down for this.
Like, this is a great idea, and as long as the price is $20 a month,
as long as it's not too expensive, that's the caveat there.
I think it'll be great. So you know what, I am down for DC doing this, and will not be surprised if Disney or Marvel kind of does something maybe similar in the near future. So
yeah,
from imitation we get greatness. So I'll take it.
Sweet.
Speaking of DC movies, we only have one bit of news on that today, and that is The Flash. Robert Zemeckis may be a possible director for this movie.
That would be interesting.
So Robert Zemeckis is known for Back to the Future, probably some of his, what most people know him from. He later kind of delved into very hyper realistic CG stuff, like the Polar Express, and was it The Night Before Christmas or something like that, or The Christmas Story with Jim Carrey, Beowulf. But I mean, if they can get him for The Flash, that's the first classic director that they would have in their stable of directors.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely perking up the ears of some people. I mean, out of all of these DC movies, I think I'm most excited for The Flash just because, the TV show's been really, really fun. They've been really creative with their TV budget to show these superhero powers. And I'm just waiting to see what they can do with The Flash on a freaking, like $500 million budget or whatever they end up spending on the movie. So give it to Robert Zemeckis. Yeah, I hope it's good. Robert Zemeckis, he's getting up there in age, but so is George Miller, and George Miller knocked it out of the park with Mad Max Fury Road. So, when it comes down to art and craft, I think the older you are, sometimes the better it could be. So this is good. This is awesome. All this awesome DC news that we just got. This is cool. I love getting good DC news.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I like it. So sign me up for it. I like some good DC stuff. Like, again, people, normally we don't have a lot of good things to say, but this week it's great. It's great for us. Jurassic World 2 adds a classic actor again with Jeff Goldblum back in.
Oh man! If this wasn't our summer movie preview episode, and I didn't have to make all of that like the headline of the show, this would have been like up front and center. We all know how much I love Jeff Goldblum on this show. This is huge. This is huge news, man.
Well, yeah, and we already have an episode called Jeff is Goldbluming, and we have to make Jeff is Goldbluming 2. Electric Boogaloo as the title, but yeah, he's coming back as Dr. N. Malcolm, which we saw in Jurassic Park and The Lost World. So we don't know anything about Jurassic World 2 was doing, except they have him returning, and then the scientist who was in Jurassic World and Jurassic Park, the first one, I can't think of his name. B.D. Wong is the actor, but he's returning. So looks like there's also another character, the old man from Babe. I can't think of the actor's name, but he is actually in this movie as a partner to Richard Hammond from the first movie. Okay. So there's a lot of throwbacks to the originals coming up in this next one.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum is just in this renaissance right now of his career where he basically can do no wrong because he's just so cool. I mean, no one liked Independence Day 2. it was bad. And he was in it, and he was kind of like the main star to bring people into the theaters to connect them to the last movie. And people were just like, oh, we still like you, Jeff Goldblum, because he's just awesome. He kind of has that charisma force behind him, like, what's his name? It's blank. Why am I blanking? Ghostbusters, Caddyshack.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, that's right. I could think of all of his movies in his face, but just not his name. He's kind of got that force behind him, so... man, he's going to be cashing some big checks. I mean, summer blockbuster sequels. Whew. Jeff Goldblum, awesome get. Can't wait for it.
He also will be using that money on his food truck called Chef Goldblum's. So
yes, I love that. Get the gold bloom, the silver bloom, the bronze bloom.
He is just out there doing everything. So I'm glad he's coming back. Everyone loves Dr. Ian Malcolm. Nobody, as much as people don't like The Lost World, people love Jeff Goldblum in that movie. So
oh yeah,
we'll take it. The Masters of the Universe movie is still coming out, Mike. If you remember the He-Man movie.
I can't remember the last time we talked about this. This is ancient. It's
news.
ancient already.
The director, McG, is no longer directing the movie. They're shopping around for more, but David Goyer is writing the script, which...
we know how we feel about Goyer.
Yeah, right? It depends on what he's doing. If he's enjoying himself, this might turn out good, but... so I just want to give an update on that. I know I've seen a lot of He-Man stuff lately, like all over the place in like the comic book store and like at the conventions. He-Man is a hot topic right now for some reason.
Maybe he's coming up on like an anniversary or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but the first movie of Masters of the Universe sucks. It sucks so hard, Mike. So don't watch it.
All right.
So we'll go with that. And lastly, I got a chance to watch the King Arthur movie, Legend of the Sword, 2 weeks early this week.
Wow.
The promotion WB had here at our local theater. And honestly, as much hell as, we forgot about this movie. We thought it was already out. We thought we'd already missed it. And as much hell as, I thought I'd give it, I actually kind of enjoyed myself a little bit more than I thought I would.
Oh, I'm shocked.
So it's a Guy Ritchie movie. And if you're familiar with Guy Ritchie's movies, like Snatch, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Sherlock Holmes, he does maintain some of his... typical Guy Ritchie styles and stuff, kind of like the way Edgar Wright does in some of his movies, like the quick cuts to talk over stuff. Several scenes, kind of like out of Ant-Man, where it's got the his Hispanic friend telling about the story while the story's happening.
Michael Pena,
yeah. So it actually is a refreshing take on the King Arthur story. It's not the same old some lady in the water gives him a sword, tells him he's going to become the king, and he's the king. It's actually a lot like, it reminds me a lot of Lord of the Rings, but if this was a video game, I'd play the shit out of it. Like, it's got some cool action, it's got some cool stuff. I did not offend me, Mike, and I think if people are on the fence, go for it. If you're not on the fence, you're not missing surprised. A lot, but if you're on the fence, go for it. So
all right, I have to say honestly, I'm shocked it didn't offend you.
Yeah.
It's sad to say. I think this movie comes out. When does this movie come out? Like a week after Guardians or something like that.
Yeah,
it comes
May
out
12th.
soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be competing with the second week of Guardians, which I think is going to be even difficult then. So, I mean, good luck, Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam. I mean, I didn't care for him too much in what was the movie he did, Pacific Rim. But he came in. He was a better actor in this one than he was in that for some reason. So
I guess the only question I have is, does this movie try to set up like a franchise? Do you think there's going to be another King Arthur 2 in a couple years, or
it didn't feel like it? It felt like it ended where it needed to. But if there is more to it, I'm okay with it, because there's a whole bunch of world they didn't explore, but they didn't like, oh well, we're gonna go over there next time. It ended on a good note, and if there's more out of it, I'd be okay with that. So.
All right. Well, color me shocked.
Yeah, color me shocked as well. So I didn't expect to enjoy it that much. So we'll go with it. But that's it for the show. End on that positive little review there. Mike, if people want to know what you're up to, how the non-3D screening of Guardians went, where can they find you at?
Well, if you want to find out if I actually got Hamilton tickets that got released this morning just before we started recording the podcast, you can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to know what you're up to, because you're in full tilt Comic Con season right now, where can they follow you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Valdan, Valdan. You can find me there and read stuff on Comic UI and Filmside Chats. And yeah, it is Comic-Con mode, and it's. I mean, you're going to get the bigger one, Comic-Con of the year, Mike. So it doesn't really matter, but a lot going on, and really excited to watch Guardians and all the other stuff this summer. So there's that. And starting next week when we kick off our summer spoiler cast season, people want to listen to those, Mike, and want to know how they can find our thoughts on Guardians. Where can they do that if they're not familiar with it?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com because that is the best place to find all the avenues that we host the show and to check out the show notes. So we talked about so many release dates in this episode. If you actually want to see them cataloged somewhere, come check out the show notes for this episode. But you can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr, and you can subscribe and get us right in your email inbox every week. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and if you want to pick up some sweet swag, you can check out superheroslate.com/store and get some like t-shirts and mugs and sweatshirts and stuff. We really love that. If you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review, a like, giving us some feedback. We love hearing from you guys. Whether you agree with us or not, we still love it. And if you're a super fan of the show, just share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week, especially next week. Guardians of the Galaxy, man. Spoiler cast, news episode. Get ready for it.
Yes, we're going to be here twice. Not once, but twice. So that's it for the show this week. Thanks for listening, guys, and I guess we'll catch you next week.
All right, bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Man, like only 3 people in the world have Squidbillies merchandise, and you were one of them.